I'd like to dive deep on a Quest 2 exclusive.
Don't say Resident Evil 4. Please.
As I mentioned earlier,
Please.
if you weren't tuned into Capcom's
No!
Resident Evil 25th anniversary showcase last week, here's the scoop.
Why?
We're bringing Resident Evil 4 to Quest 2 later this year.
Why?
Resident Evil 4 originally debuted in 2005 on GameCube, and in the 16 years since launch, it's continued to inspire games, movies, and the
My
survival
$400
horror
bucks
genre.
wasn't fucking enough for
Now,
you,
the content of the
Oculus?
game's not going to change.
Huh?
We wouldn't mess with such a winning formula.
Huh?
But we also don't consider
400
this a
bucks isn't
traditional
fucking
port.
enough?
My colleagues at Oculus Studios are
We
working
need another
closely with
300.
Armature and Capcom
You have to
to
buy the
rework
Quest.
the entire game for VR.
You have to play it on an
Every corner of
inferior
the world is
platform.
being enhanced and remastered to feel fresh and exciting to OGs
Why?
and to new fans alike. By ratcheting up the
This
suspense
unironically
as
makes
only
me upset.
VR can.
Unironically. No jokes. No jokes at all right now, okay? Just 100% being honest with you guys. This genuinely makes me fucking upset and kind of mad, right? It's not very often that I actually do get fucking upset and mad. Except at this fucking strand of hair that won't stay in place. But this genuinely makes me fucking mad. Why? If it works on a Quest, it will work on a Rift. There's no world where a game that can run on the mobile Quest cannot run on my $1,000+ PC. That world doesn't exist. Why the fuck are you making one of the biggest titles in VR with RE4 VR a Quest 2 exclusive? It's fucking stupid. It makes no fucking sense. What you're doing is you're spitting a warm, nasty fucking loogie in all of the people's faces that gave you money when you were just starting with your consumer version and your Rift S. You're saying, fuck you guys for actually supporting us when we were just starting up. Fuck you, buy our new thing because there's a bunch of little kids on the Quest now and mobile gaming is the future. Dude, it's so fucked up. Really pisses me off, man.
The most obvious differences between playing RE4 in VR and on console is the shift in perspective and interactivity. Only on Quest 2 will you be able to play RE4 from Leon's first-person perspective. And the touch controllers will allow you to interact with the world in a fundamentally new way from how it's played on console. For example, items and weapons have been re-engineered to become physical objects that players can interact with.
It looks so good.
So that you can pick up things like ammo, keys, and treasures, as well as load, aim, and fire weapons in VR.
I fucking hate how good it looks.
You'll also be able to switch weapons by grabbing them off your body instead of going into a menu. And you can wield separate weapons with each hand. Even RE4's famous menu is no longer a pause screen. It's an interactive tool. A ton of effort has gone into making weapon interactions smooth, satisfying, and responsive, including two-handed weapons like shotguns and rifles.
I'm so mad. It looks so good, and I'm so mad about it.
Let's talk about the movement system now. We didn't want the shift from third to first person to change the fundamental way Leon moves or collides with the world. You'll still move in first person by using the analog stick, but Armature has added a full upper body rig on top of Leon's character to combine his movement with the dual-handed interactivity achieved with touch controllers. If you don't want to use the analog stick to move freely, Armature even added support for teleportation, as well as room scale movement so that you can explore the environment with natural motion.
Who would ever do that?
And of course, one of our top priorities is to ensure the
It's to
experience
fuck
is
over
comfortably
Rift
played
users
while seated, and with a ton of comfort options at your disposal to try out. As I mentioned earlier, RE4 debuted on GameCube 16 years ago.
Look at this
so you might be wondering, how in the world are we bringing the core systems from the original over to Quest 2? Well, first,
look at her
it takes
just staring
passion.
us down.
The teams at Oculus Studios, Armature, and Capcom are all longtime fans of the game.
Oh, is that so? You know who else is? Rift users.
Best results.
Give you $400
And it takes
you know.
time. We've been working on this title for a couple years now, and just carefully and reverently making changes that will make your experience feel both fresh and nostalgic. Technically speaking, Armature is using core systems from the original RE4 to drive gameplay and systems.
God damn it. It
but
looks
they've
so
remastered
good. I
art.
hate it.
Over 4,500 textures have either been repainted or upresed. World geometry has been adjusted to work in stereoscopic 3D. And enemy behaviors and attacks have been balanced around the player's new perspective to increase mobility in VR. They've also improved support for running the game at a higher frame rate than the original.
That's pretty
30
far
frames
into the
per
game.
second, and fixed many bugs that the 60 FPS versions of the game had. Now, while Armature has adjusted a number of things for VR, some things just haven't needed to change. Character animations have been faithfully converted to Unreal Engine 4 and remain untouched from the original
How do the
source
cutscenes
material.
work? That's what I want to know.
And all cutscenes will be presented in their original format.
Oh, okay.
If you're a
That makes
fan of
sense.
the survival horror genre like
That's
me,
what I was most curious
you've
about.
likely played
Oh, yeah,
or
you're a
tried to play
fan?
a lot of scary games in
Yeah.
VR.
You're a
Now,
fan?
RE4 isn't known for being the scariest in the Resident Evil franchise, but it is scarier and more suspenseful in VR thanks
Yeah.
to spatial audio and
I'm
immersive
sure it
interactivity.
is. I wish I could experience
Armature has
it.
manipulated
Guess I have to give you guys
aspects of the
$300
original
extra
RE4
dollars, huh?
audio data and have used it
Need
instead as
700
3D
instead of
spatial
4.
sound. So when you hear noises
course.
like crows, voices, and creaks,
Still cheaper than an
you're going to want
index.
to turn your head to see if there's a threat. They've also made sure that audio telegraphs from enemies to indicate which direction they're attacking from. So where on console you might have heard a Ganado approaching and rather calmly press buttons to reload and prepare a takedown, in VR, you're checking your ammo.
It's like an
or scrambling
arcade
to load a
game
mag.
now,
If you
though.
drop it, you're only adding to the stress and suspense of the situation. by needing
It
to
looks
physically correct
infinitely
your mistakes.
easier.
You'll be living in the moment, carefully tracking ammo and inventory, relying on your senses for success more than you've ever done before. I'll leave you with
Definitely
this.
easier.
A
No doubt
huge
about
part
that.
of the RE4 fame was the elaborate cinematics that sell and tell the story. But once you come out of a cinematic in VR and find yourself face to face with the boss, the experience is totally different.
They're gonna show the chief. Oh, Gigante.
I could talk for a lot longer about this game, but we've got to move on because there is more to share today. But stay tuned for more Resident Evil 4
Fuck
updates
you.
in the lead up to its launch on
Fuck
Quest 2
you.
later this year. All
Not
right,
even a word.
now I'd like
Not
to
even a mention. Not even a little tickle to the dick of the people that fucking have a rift. Nothing. Nothing. They don't even care about you. They didn't utter the word rift once. They didn't even think about it. It didn't fucking cross their mind. The only word that came out of this bitch's fucking mouth was quest. You know what this is like? This is like a game coming out and just being exclusive to the fucking index. And anybody that bought an HTC Vive, they don't get to fucking play it. You know how stupid that would be? You know how many people would be fucking pissed off? There would be a lot of people that would be pissed off because, you know, you're funding this company's growth, right? I go ahead, I give you $400, right? 3+ years ago, and I say, here you go. I am funding your growth as a company. I want Oculus to do well, and, you know, I believe in you guys. And they say, thank you for the money. It was really nice of you. We'll release some of our games on, but as we go on, we're going to release more and more games that are going to be exclusive to a shitty mobile version of the device you have. And you're not going to have any way to play it at all on your Rift or the Rift S. God forbid if you bought a fucking Rift S, bro. Jesus Christ. Like, I have a CV1, but God forbid if you bought a fucking Rift S, you're really getting shafted. Because that's even more recent, and they're telling you fuck off. It's absurd. Like, I would understand if they weren't even selling the Rift S anymore. But what is the point in segregating your demographics? Like, what is the point in releasing some games exclusive to the Quest, some games exclusive to Rift, some games on both? What the fuck is the point? Like, I would understand games that are too demanding for the Quest, they come out on the Rift. That makes sense to me. I would understand if you need the wireless capabilities and the freedom of movement, right? That the Quest offers. But that's not the case. They're just releasing shit on the fucking Quest to be exclusive. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why the fuck it has to be on the Quest only. It makes no sense. You know what it is? It's they don't like Revive. They don't like the fact that people on Steam, people that bought a Vive, or people that bought an Index can play their fucking games. They don't like that. They're not a fan of it. And they know that anything that they release on PC, people are going to mod it and they're going to be able to play it on these other devices. So the only way for these fuckers to get the most money possible is by forcing you to buy a Quest to play it. Like, just you buying their game, like if you have an Index or a Vive, just you buying their game and then using Revive to play it, that's not enough money for these fucks, for these greedy scumbags. Instead, they want you to hook up to Facebook. Oh, you can't play our games if you're not on Facebook. You have to hook up to Facebook and you have to buy a Quest and you have to have GPS location so we know exactly where you are and everything that you're doing. It's so fucking apparent and it's just disgusting, bro. It really just pisses me off. And I am going to highlight this and put this on YouTube as a video because this shit just pisses me off, man. It does.
Share with you